Hi students, today we are going to learn the poem The Ant and the Cricket in your class 8 NCERT reader. The title is quite interesting, isn't it? We have animal characters, and as we read the poem we'll understand that the poem is in the form of a story, or in short we can say it's a fable in poetic form. A fable is a story often with animals as characters that conveys a moral. This one is an Aesop's fable, and Aesop was a former Greek slave who lived in the late to mid 6th century BC. There are 725 fables, and they were told from person to person for entertainment purposes as well as for teaching a moral lesson. Let's get into the poem. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground. Not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. "Oh, what will become," says the cricket, "of me?" Now, students, you all know what a cricket is. It's a kind of insect with flattened bodies and a long antennae. They are known for their chirping sound. The poet says that there was a young cricket who lacked wisdom and he used to enjoy during the spring and summer seasons. The poet describes the spring and summer season as gay, which means happy and enjoyable because it's full of life. Winter is a period of inactiveness as people are always inside their houses because of the cold weather. In contrast to winter, food and water are in abundance during summer and spring. So the cricket was singing all through those seasons and he didn't plan anything for the future. And when winter arrived, he couldn't find even a small amount of food to eat. There was snow on the ground and he could not see even one flower or a leaf on the tree. The cricket was in trouble. He became sad and he exclaimed what would become of him. Let's move on to find how the fable moves. At last, by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant to see if, to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he would repay it tomorrow, if not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. So now, the cricket had not eaten anything and he was starving with hunger. Somehow he gathered courage and set off to seek the help of a tiny ant. The cold made the cricket wet and he was shivering. He requested the ant to lend him some food and shelter and promised to repay it soon. He knew he would die because of the chilling cold, hunger and sorrow of not doing anything. You are a bit excited to know how the ant would have replied, right? So now let's move on to the last part. Says the ant to the cricket, "I'm your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm?" Quoth the cricket, "Not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay." "You sang, sir, you say? Go then," says the ant, "and dance the winter away." Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. I will warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. Now coming to the explanation. After listening to the cricket, the ant replies that it considers itself to be his servant as well as a friend. But he says, industrious ants never borrow anything from others nor lend anything. The ant asks the cricket why did he not gather anything when the weather was warm during spring and summer. The cricket replies that it was quite happy and did not care about the future, and he further says that he kept singing day and night as everything looked happy around him. And he never cared about the future as he thought the beauty of spring and summer would always remain the same. Listening to the cricket, the ant tells him that he should continue to do the same and the winter will just go away. He quickly ended the conversation and pushed the poor cricket out of the door. The poet concludes in the last two lines that though the story is considered to be a fable, he feels it's quite true because it sends a great moral and it's related to the real world. The poet is now comparing the lazy crickets to the two-legged creatures, that is, the human beings. We learn that one should not be lazy and careless about one's life and future like the crickets. Instead, we must be foresighted enough to see our future and consequently make plans like the hard-working ants. So I hope students you would have understood the poem very clearly, and let me conclude with a quote of Mahatma Gandhiji. The future depends on what you do today. So have a great day. I'll meet you in the next chapter. Thank you.